Amazing. So I'm gonna talk about what will happen in the next 30 minutes. So Chris talked about how important leadership is when it comes to landing a job at the places you want to be at. But the first step to get there is to actually have a resume that allows you to get a step closer to your dream company. So today we're gonna do three things. One is talk about the strategy that can help you stand out in a pile of resumes, possibly hundreds to thousands. And the second part is to have a few students' resume, and we use it as a real example to see how we can transform as something you have right now to something that's ready to take you to the next level. And the third part is a surprise for students who stay until the end. So I won't disclose what that surprise is, but let's get started. So right now, we're at a place you might feel stressed about your career, especially the COVID isn't looking good. And you might be in a place where your network is not so strong in North America. And as well, you might be thinking, oh, I might lack professional experience. And this year, we're really seeing 30 to 50% tougher competition because of the job loss, because of the unemployment. So where you really want to be is a place that you can see a clear path to the dream career you want to take, and somewhere where you can deliver a resume that catches people's attention and say, I remember that person because that impressed me. As well, you want to be surrounded by talent who can take you to the place you want to be at, and you want to deliver your value with solid soft skills and hard skills. So before really diving into the strategy of resume, let's see how you can build experience so you can have something to write about on your resume. We talked about the summer venture program. So today I want to show you how the summer venture program can relate to the entries on your resume. So the first most important thing is the impactful experience with a focus on impact. And later we're gonna expand on what impact really means and how you can discover that impact. So let's talk about the components who can lead to that impact. First is the sessions with your mentors. Together, you and your mentor will define what your impact will look like. And then in the group, you actually develop a strategy, because a project without a strategy is doomed for failure. Why humans have become to the top of all animals, because we think, we plan, and then we execute. However, without learning or the basic skills, you can't deliver impact. That's why we defined 8 streams that are super important to your success in the summer or at any professional place. And we'll have the wonderful Chris to talk about leadership during summer. And that also includes communication, problem solving. Well, problem solving is also led by Chris, project management, business fundamentals, and marketing. So every one of these components will lead to your professional success. With that impact, we'll consolidate that with one-on-one time to personalize your interview strategy, your resume strategy, and your cover letters. And if we believe your setup for success, your mentors from MBB, from Amazon, from Google, from banking, if they see a fit, they will help you move forward. So right now, we're really seeing a strong demand for the program. So we're trying to limit the spots so we have a really quality talent in our network. So what that means is we're pushing the deadline a little bit forward. And the entire program, if you want to be a part of this, I hope you can apply by June 7th. That's the next Sunday night. After that, we're no longer going to take applications. And to make it even more interesting, we want you to take action now. And we want you to make sure you're set up for success. And if you apply by tomorrow night, which is June 1st, 11:59 Eastern Time, we get you 3 perks. They're really different. A few weeks ago, we had Venkat, which is a BCG partner, to talk to us. So if you apply by tomorrow night, you might have a chance to talk to Venkat one-on-one. And the second part is we want to immerse you in the cultures that these great companies can deliver. So we can take you to Tech Big Four, local McKinsey office, or some office you have in mind to experience the office. And as well, there's a $200 discount. And then Chris talked about how important and how impressive it is to be a founder, but also we understand that there's a higher risk of being a founder. So we crafted some roles that are open to everyone after you pass the interview. The roles include business analyst, strategy associate, software engineer, data analyst, financial analyst, and marketing associate. But we've filled several positions around business analyst, research analyst, marketing associate for one of our venture. But we might be opening more positions in similar roles, so keep an eye out in the WeChat group. So if you feel like you're ready to take your career to the next level, I say take action and scan that QR code. Molly will be helping you out. So now we've talked enough about how to gather your experience. Let's talk about how we can express and communicate experience on your resume. So I hope that you can learn from the homework I gave you in the group yesterday and take a piece of paper. I'm gonna share one piece of advice writing resume. And that's pretty much 90% of what you need for resume writing. So I will pause for you to get your paper out, get ready. So the most important part is the experience. And the experience is written in bullet points. And the bullet point should follow this format. Number one, the most important part is you achieved X. The achievement is the impact you delivered. The second part is the things you did. So you achieved X by doing Y. Let's say I wrote a report, I compiled an analysis, I wrote a program. That's the what you did, but that's not most important. And the third part is the tool that you used. So let me explain why each part is important. The first part is important because it distinguishes someone mediocre with someone that's great. Because given the job description, if you just talk about what you did, everyone hired for this position will deliver the same thing, because that's their job responsibility. But the impact really helps you see who went above and beyond and did a great job. The second part is what you did. This is what most people already have on their resume, so I won't go further into that. The third part is the tool. The tool is important because some companies use a specific technology, and it also shows that you've done your work. Let's say tools you can write can be Python, can be VBA, can be Tableau, can be anything that's relevant to your role. So now we know the format of writing I achieved X by doing Y using Z. Let's use some real examples to see how we can transform what we have to what resume or recruiters want to see. So I am going to use this template. And then before going there, I want to see if you can see my screen. And then can you just type in the chat of what you're seeing? I'm just making sure I'm sharing not sharing the tab. Can someone say if they see a Google Doc that says Bank of X in China? Just a simple yes.
I see that, Henry. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Awesome. So this is from one of our volunteers, from one of our students I received on Friday night, so thank you. And if we can have this lovely friend declaring him or herself and then say hi to me, let's walk through how we can bring this current state to somewhere that's ready for the big firms. Can you say hi?
Hi.
Hello. Oh, do you want to tell us about your name, or if we want to keep it secret, that's fine too.
It's okay. I'm Sabrina. I'm the third year student in Western University. So what I went
Great.
to.
Great, Sabrina. Thank you so much for helping us to see a great transformation. So in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to work with you to transform this section. So I want to see top 3 things that you did that you felt proud. So let's start with them one by one. Can you talk about, let's say, one thing you did during your experience at this bank in China? I'm going to type in real time.
Yeah. So basically what I was doing was like in the lobby guiding people and helping the clients to like do some services like transactions, save or withdraw money, and like opening an account and get some transaction statements, exchanging like the foreign currency, and introducing the like online banking services and apps. So I think what I do is like helping like more people want to go to the like our branches to do these services because like the good services, I think. Yeah.
Great. Sabrina, I think that's a great starting point. So now I understand what you did. So I want to follow this framework of what, who, why, science, and tools. I think this is a framework that students can use to discover your impact. So now let's move on to who. It sounds like you're doing it for branch visitors.
Yeah.
Or let's say customers.
Great.
Okay, so now I want to know is why are you helping them? What's really the point of that?
Because like some people are not very familiar with like the steps they're doing, and some like the senior citizens, they're like they just like don't know like how to do like which people I should ask or something. So I just do that for them. Yeah.
So it sounds like they're not familiar with the services. And if they're not familiar with the services, that means they won't pay for your services. And if they don't pay for your services, you're losing money.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Or another way to see it is if someone who was previously not familiar with the services that your branch offers, now if they know, they can become your customers. Is that correct? Would that be accurate?
Yeah.
And then also when they become your customers, they also might be depositing money, purchasing services. Is that accurate?
Right.
Okay. You can say no if I'm not saying the right thing. Okay. So now we understand why you're doing this. And the why is typically the impact on a qualitative scale. But now we want to know the quantity. So you said these customers are coming into store and you're helping them become payers, buyers, customers. So how many people are coming into your branch, let's say every hour?
Every hour. Maybe like 100 people.
100 people? That's a lot of people. Well, okay.
In the busy time, like in the weekdays maybe, but when the weekends gonna be like half or.
Okay. So let's be more conservative. Let's just say 50 an hour. And your bank, let's say, runs 8 hours a day. And every month there are 30 days. So let's see how many people you're coming into your branch. Is that accurate? Wait, that does not. Yeah, that sounds about right. 12K. Let's say out of the 12,000 people, who are new customers?
Maybe half.
Half? Okay. Say 6,000 new customers. Okay. Let's say, how much do you think they deposit when they become a customer on average? Would $1,000 make sense or something lower?
Yep, makes sense.
So $1,000 per person multiplied by 6,000 a month. That is $6 million of additional income because of the new customers. So Sabrina, how many people like you were there working to help these people? Because you making 6 million alone sounds like a lot of money.
Yeah, let's say 70%.
There's 70 people who are doing the same job.
Sorry, can you repeat your question again?
How many people had the same role as you in your branch?
Like 7 people.
7 people. Okay, let's say 6. Let's make our math a little easier. So you're contributing to $1 million of additional revenue per month because of your services. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Based on our math, that sounds about right? And then if you're not super confident of the scale, let's say instead of 50 customers, we can say 5. We can tone it down a little bit. So you think you're comfortable with the number. So even if you're saying like $100,000 per month, that's still a very impressive number.
Right.
Would you agree? Okay, so tools doesn't sound like you use many tools. So let's leave it blank unless you have something. Okay, so we talked about one thing you did and we really extracted a really impressive impact. Let's see what else you did. Sabrina, can you tell us about the second thing you did?
Yeah, I think teaching and introducing our online banking services and apps to the people, like they can do it actually by themselves in the home, like they don't need to go to the branches because you sometimes have to wait a lot of time. So yeah.
Okay, so why are you doing that?
Like to make the whole bank more services not that crowded and more quickly.
Okay, and then sounds like you're reducing the amount of labor you would need.
Yeah.
And possibly also increase revenue because you can serve more people. So either one could work. So let's see, we estimated that you have 12,000 visitors a month. So how many of them would you say you're able to convert them into digital users?
I think half of them. 50%.
50%? That sounds like a lot of people. So you're saying 6,000 people every month get converted to digital users, and none of them used your digital bank before?
No, not that much. Seems like how about 40 or 30%?
30%. Let's say 4,000. 30% is 40%. That's about 4,000 digital conversions. Okay. So how much money would this save? I think due to time, let's estimate something, and then, or if I really rush by time, we can look at let's say the percentage. You said 30%, and when you write 30%, it sounds like you haven't really done the math yourself. So maybe 28% or something more conservative can help you. Okay. So did you use any tool for this service or this thing you did?
Maybe some technical things.
Yeah, did you use any technical tools?
Yeah, just I think they like the bank they produce the app and they.
Okay, so the bank app wouldn't be something your employer would look for from your skill set. I'd say they would look for Excel, VBA, but not really the specific bank, the specific app used at your bank. Okay, so let's look at the third thing you did. Is there something else you did that you think you're proud of?
Like I'm not doing this a lot, but when like sometimes when they're busy, I gonna help the personnel, so like some big corporate clients. Like search the financial statements and like the statistics like they need on the online banking system or on the Excel. Yeah.
Okay, so why are you helping them with financial statements?
Like maybe they want to like invest something or raw material and need to like prove that they have the power.
Sorry, I was losing you a little bit. Can you say the last part after investing?
Oh yeah, like maybe like buy some raw materials they need, so they just have the statement like.
Okay, you're helping with procurement.
Yeah.
Okay, and then invest something. So they want to see where their financial health is at. Okay, great. So do you know how much they're investing, or are you not allowed to disclose? Or how large are these clients in terms of their cash flow?
Sounds a lot. Maybe 5 million.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
5 million. I think someone didn't.
Okay, so $1 million clients.
Mm.
Okay, great. So now we have the core of what we need for the bullet points. So let's see how we can put together the what, who, why, size, and tools to 3 bullet points. Let's start with the first one. It sounds like the whole goal is to increase revenue. And what you're trying to do is help them with your services. So let's see what we can write here. So I think you are trying to increase the branch's monthly deposit. So you're not really getting revenue, but you're getting deposit by $100,000. So what you're really doing is creating outstanding or delivering, building or delivering outstanding customer experiences for clients. And as you said, you're trying to help them purchase services. So what you're doing is upselling. And upselling expects relevant financial products. Okay, let's give it another read. So increase the branch's monthly deposit by $100,000 through creating outstanding customer experiences for clients. All right, that's a little bit extra. And upselling expects relevant financial products. So we have the impact, we have what you did. Let's move on to the second bullet. So the second bullet, you're introducing digital banking to the people who were previously not digital. And your goal is to reduce your personnel cost. So what we're doing is you reduce the personnel, personnel cost by 28%, or somewhere you want to find out. through you're introducing digital banking solutions to people who are visiting your branch a lot, because the ones who just visit once, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to teach them. Great, that's our second bullet. Let's see the third bullet. The third bullet is you're trying to help your corporate clients understand their financial health and help them devise their procurement strategies. And these clients are at $1 million scale. Let's see how we can phrase this. I don't think $1 million scale clients are that impressive, so I'm gonna leave this out of resume.
Okay.
Let's see how we can do this. Let's say helped corporate clients evaluate their financial health and let's say devise procurement strategies by, what did you do? You compiled, or say curated, you're curating their financial statements. Okay, let's read this again. Help corporate clients evaluate. Okay, I think assess might be a better word here. Assess their financial health and devise procurement strategies by curating their financial statements. So let's give these a little more read. Do we have impact? We have impact. We have impact. Do we have what you did? Yes. So what we're really missing here is your technical abilities. So when you're doing these financial statements, did you use any VBA, Excel, or other tools that these banks might be looking for? Sabrina? Did you use any tools for your financial statements? So what did you use?
You mean Excel?
Great. All right. So let's make it even better by adding some bolding and italicizing. I would bold the impact numbers because they're really impressive. And I would also italicize the technologies that you used. Okay, Sabrina, what do you think of the current version? Do you think it's more impactful, and are you more confident in your job search?
Yeah, it looks better than the previous.
Great, that's good to hear. And let's quickly recap of what happened here. We talked about what, who, why, size, and tools, and use these to discover the impact that Chris was talking about. So thank you so much, Sabrina. I'm gonna move on to our second volunteer. All right, so this is the second resume I received on Friday night. Does someone want to identify yourself, who this belongs to? Do we have a volunteer here? Who wrote this resume?
Okay, hi.
Hi, do you want to tell us your name? Or if not, that's fine.
Okay, my name's Vera, and I'm a first-year student now.
Great, Vera. So very impressive resume for someone in their first year. Already landed something, great investment firm. I'm not going to disclose which one. So how about we walk through the same process as we did with Sabrina and see how we can transform your resume. Okay. How does that sound? Okay, let's get started with, so let me try to understand more about this experience. From what I understand, it's still ongoing. So you might not have all the impact yet.
Yes.
Okay, so that makes it a little hard to come up with 3 experiences. So let's maybe keep it to 2 and see what we can find. So maybe, Vera, can you talk about the most important thing or the proudest thing you did right now?
Okay, because I just started this internship for about 3 weeks. And the first and second weeks, the first weeks I read lots of financial statements and some performance measurements are there, or internal files, yeah, to help me build a specific business structure, the business concepts for this company. And
okay, so besides reading statements, did you write anything?
I write, it has a specific name, like the performance measurement, yes, just one kind of financial statement, yeah, performance measurement report, yeah.
Okay, so who are you doing it for? Are you doing it for a client or the company?
Oh, I did that for the company.
Okay.
Okay, because
X investments. Okay,
yeah,
so
we are the middle class, middle office. So why middle office? Yeah.
But that doesn't explain why.
The colleagues requires our report to design their investment plan.
Ah. Okay, all right. So you're designing their investment plan. Okay, how large is their investment plan?
Because in the first week I did that for the last year, so it's about 400 billion.
Okay, guys, hear that? 400 billion. Okay.
For the whole year.
Okay, so you're helping them design their investment plan.
Yeah.
Okay, and then how much of a difference can you make through your reports? 1%, 0.5%?
I can tell this exact number. I don't know.
You can't. You just started. So let's give it a question mark. So this is something you're working towards when you're completing the internship. Okay, so when you're building the performance measurement reports and reading these financial statements, what kind of tools did you use?
I use Excel VBA.
Okay, great. Let's move on. What's the second thing you did?
The second thing I got is one kind of industry research.
Okay.
I'm still doing that. Industry.
Okay. So what are you researching?
I choose a company in China. A company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Using a company in China for what?
For I investigate the equity structure, and in the last year, yeah.
Okay. Are you trying to predict something in the future too, or?
Oh yeah, of course.
Great. So sounds like you're doing it for the company.
Yeah.
Am I right? Okay. And why are you doing that? Why are you investigating this company's equity structure?
It's similar as the first one, to help the colleagues, help the teams in the front office. They need our reports to do the investment in China.
So you want a better investment strategy. Okay, that makes sense. How large is the fund or the investment in China right now?
In China.
Yeah.
And the one I choose is about 50 billion.
50 billion. Okay, great. Any tools you're using?
I use Excel VBA and SQL.
Okay, so let's just highlight SQL right now.
Okay.
I think 2 is pretty good at the beginning of your internship. So let's say you're going to make 1% of difference.
Okay.
Do you think there's anything else you want to talk about right now, or let's compile them into some beautiful bullets?
Just compile them.
Yes, ma'am. Let's do it. So the first one, the point here is thinking about a better investment strategy and really helping the front office sell it. Is it right?
Yeah.
Okay, sell. And the point of selling it is really increasing the fund size. With more money, more return, that's better for the company. Okay? So that's why, and then what we want to highlight is this is a $400 billion fund, and then you're making X% of difference, and that's because of you. And what we did was around financial statements, reports. Okay, let's put it together. Sounds like you're trying to help increase the X investment. That's a $400 billion. Oh, that's $400 billion fund investment portfolio by, let's say, X%. You don't know yet. Through what you're doing is you're curating business financial statements about their operations, and then let's think how we can do that through curating financial reports pertaining to its operations using Excel and VBA. Okay, so that's the first thing you did. The second thing you did it because you want to help the front office invest better. So the invest better means you want to increase the return on investment. So what that means is you improved the ROI of X investment China regional fund. Let's call it that. How large is it? It is 50 billion China regional fund by Y% through performing investigative industry research, and you're also doing some predictive analysis. Okay, predictive analysis on which company analysis. So you're analyzing past data, right? And if you want, do you want to do a data role, a data analytics role in the future?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so the more data you're processing, the better it seems on resume. Okay, so let's say on that terabyte of data is not that cool. Proprietary data using SQL. Okay, let's run through them. You first helped increase X Investment's $400 billion fund, oh God, by X%. So I would build both because those are super impressive. Through curating financial reports pertaining to its operations using Excel and VBA. You want to italicize your tools, but this part is something I don't know. So I would say, what else? So this is a homework for you. Let's go through the second one. It improves the ROI of X Investment's $50 billion China regional fund by a Y% through performing investigative industry research and predictive analysis on zettabytes of proprietary data using SQL. So now we're seeing we have impact, we have what you did, we have tools, and that's check, check, check. I think investigative sounds a bit pretentious, so let's take it out. So Vera, what do you think of these two statements? Are they accurate, and do you think you're more confident by submitting this resume to your interviewer?
Yeah, it feels like I'm really doing something in this company.
Yes, you will be. You will be. I hope that you will be. Okay, thank you, Vera. I will send this to you later today. And then I promise our audience that we're gonna have a surprise. And I wanna see how many people wanna see this. The surprise is I used this resume to land interviews at Google, at McKinsey, and some investment firms. So I'm gonna show you my resume, and then in the chat, let's see if I get more than 20 guesses, I'm gonna show it to you. So if you wanna see it, let's type yes, and then if I see more than 20, I'll show it to you. Okay, I'm seeing 10 so far. All right, 12. 15. All right, I think that's close enough. Let's see what I got. Okay, can you see what I'm showing? Yes? Let me see if you're seeing. Oh, is that yes to seeing the resume? Okay. Let me know if you can't see my resume. And I'm gonna walk you through the bullets I have as a closing thought in this Ignite series. So I'm gonna talk about the last two experiences, which are entrepreneurial and which really helped me land the BCG interview and helped me get into McKinsey later. So I think, yep.
Sorry,
you can't
we can see your resume. Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. Let me share. Okay, how about now? Can you see my resume now?
Yeah.
Great. So I'm going to talk about Global Engineering Week, which is a student club, and VOBI, which was my startup. And I'm going to talk about why each experience is important and why I curated these bullet points. So as a founder, I'm going to talk about VOBI first. As a founder, your number one role is to have a vision and lead a team behind that role, behind that vision. So I want to put my most impressive stuff first. Right? The most impressive stuff is the 4,800 users I was able to get. And in the summer, if you're part of Summer Venture Program, that can be you, right? We're targeting thousands of people. And if you do pretty well, if you have thousands of users, you might raise hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars of seed funding. And throughout that process, you really hone in on your presentation skills and you're maintaining relationships with investors. And also that process, you get to manage people at a scale that other students don't get to. I was at one point managing 80 people, and I was kind of proud of that. Also, you want to show the various aspects of your leadership. Right? We talked about the technology part. Now we want to talk about marketing. You start with your impact. The impact is you gathered more than half of your market share. But how did you do that? You want to say statistical models. That is pretty much big data and analytics. And you also want to be more specific and use a language that your target firm wants to hear, right? Targeted marketing campaigns. So that is my co-founding experience at VOBI. And now let's talk about, if you don't get that kind of startup experience, what can you do at school? So this is a school club I was involved in. And at the time I joined, there were 3 people. And after I joined, I brought the program to more than 5 schools across Canada. And we made an impact on 10,000 engineering students. How do we get there? We partner with really impressive organizations, including Google, Boston Consulting Groups, and many NGOs, including Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Also during this process, I got to manage a team. And because you're involved in school project, you get to show your leadership. And you want to say, I led the team, but to do what? The what is you're really introducing students to a different way of thinking. And the amount of impact was about 7,000 students across a lot of courses. And as well, you want to show that your leadership is not just when you're there. After you leave, it really shows your leadership. And I want to say, I built a sustainable national talent pipeline so that the team can sustain. And right now, the team is actually at 67 people. So that even grew further. So as you see, that was the resume that helped me get Google, get McKinsey, lend investment firms such as the Shaw, and many other places. The reason was mainly I was able to show what I achieved by doing what, using what technology. So with that, I'm gonna take 5 minutes to answer your questions. And then actually before that, I think Molly has something to say. Molly, do you want to say something before I open up for questions?
Face in Chinese for sure.
Okay.
OK， 大家好，我叫 Molly， 然后我是 EVC 这边负责人。那我呢会简单的跟大家介绍一下导师今天讲座提到过的一个program， 也是类似于刚刚导师给咱们看这个简历上他这个我记得叫 Bobby 是吧？这么一个创业经历。得以让他拿到了这个 Google 呀、麦肯锡这样的 offer。那到底怎样的一段经历他可以分享给我们呢？就是具体的会在我们即将6月10号开展的这个创业的 program 当中会呈现给大家。那这个项目呢，就是由我们这个 Henry 导师来自于麦肯锡，还有我们来自 Google 呀、Amazon， 还有贝恩 BCG 这样公司的导师来带领我们做的这么一个项目。那整个项目呢，为期是10周。那在这个项目当中呢，每一个学生都会有自己的这个 job title， 也会有自己的 job description。你会有这个就类似于每个人各司其职吧，在这个项目当中，也就是说呢，你会以一个 intern 实习生的身份加入这些导师所建的这个创业公司。那在这个10周项目结束之后，你在你简历上呈现的就会跟我们这个 Henry 导师跟大家呈现的这个简历一样，也会跟你的这个面试官说你是这家公司的 co-founder， 你也会有非常非常多的这个 result 写到你的简历上。你有很多像刚刚咱们这个 Chris 导师跟大家说的，你会有很多这个经历也好，这个 story 也好，去 share 给你的这个面试官也可以更加的吸引他们。你也可以跟你的身边的人说，哎，我跟 Google、Amazon、MBB 的这些导师一起创业了。那通过这个项目之后呢，你还能得到的是我们这个100% guarantee 的 referral。那这个 referral 呢是持续1年。那除此以外呢，还有这个 networking， 这2个东西我个人认为是咱们中国留学生最需要的东西了。那除此以外，还有就是咱们这个就说咱这10周是个创业的一段经历，它再怎么讲呢，也是一段 internship， 也是一个工作。所以这个呢，我们也是给你提供你的这个工作证明，还有这个推荐信，包括背景调查，以支持你未来找工作也好，申请研究生也好，都是可以的。那这个项目如果大家还有什么具体问题呢，只可以加我的微信，我呢在群里就叫 Molly， 大家可以搜索我的微信号加我。除此以外呢，就是截止到明天晚上为止，我们还有这个$200 off 的 coupon 可以发给大家。还有呢，就是在明天晚上报名的话呢，我们会抽取这个刚才Henry导师也说了，抽取一个幸运儿跟我们这个我记得是BCG 的 partner 对吧？跟这 BCG partner 来个1对1的这个电话沟通，这个机会是非常难得的。就你想吧，你怎么样能通过 LinkedIn 去约到一个 BCG partner， 对不对？我们可以给你提供这么一个机会，搭一个桥梁。这个呢是抽取的，就是我们报名的这个学生当中，你不需要交全款，付一个定金就可以。然后呢，我们这个项目呢是在6月7号截止报名。如果大家还需要思考的话，也没有问题，咱6月7号之前都是可以的。那我要说的就这么多，Henry导师可以继续了。
Okay, let's open up to questions. I see all the questions were for Chris. I'm gonna wait for 2 more minutes, and if you don't have more questions, I'm not gonna disclose my full name yet because McKinsey will have problems with me. Sorry about that. Okay, sounds like we do not have more questions. Oh, do we have make all description fit into one line? No, you don't. You can have as many lines as you want, but typically more than 2 is really hard to read. Oh, my entrepreneur project was, as you saw, the Vobi, which was a platform that allows or helps students study more efficiently. And then I made some pretty big mistakes towards the end of it. So I burned most of the money in one summer. I'm happy to talk more about the failures. I'm happy to talk one-on-one. How I picked what I built, that really was a core problem that my friends around me were struggling. Because I came from a culture that really valued studying and studying in an efficient way, but my friends around me were really struggling. They're putting in more hours than I did and getting less results than I could get. So I was thinking, what's the difference between how they study and how I studied? So there's some methodical differences, and what I summarized was a learning model that could be scaled to many subjects in science and math. I call it concept example quiz, which just allow you to learn a module really quickly. And do you want me to expand on that, or we can talk about something else? Right. I think there's a great question around estimation. So estimation is a very important and interesting skill. So for some positions, such as product manager or consultant, your interviewer might ask you this question: how many taxi drivers are there in New York City? It's really hard to come up with a number, and what they're really looking for is your logic to deduce an answer. And same goes for your estimation for your impact. We went through a few examples of how we came from the number of visitors in a branch to the potential additional deposit that's really the impact you're driving. So I would encourage you to gather the skill of estimating. And there's a good book called Cracking the PM Interview. I think that does a decent job of explaining how to do this type of questions. And as well, the book, The McKinsey Way, helps you with that too. Okay, the next, before I elaborate on my failures and the learning example, let's answer the last question on the screen. Is Anne doesn't really have a lot of experiences right now on his or her resume, and the suggestion is not to write a better resume. The suggestion is to get that internship or some experience, right? Let's say Chris talked about, if you don't have an internship experience, you can join a club. If you can join a club, we provided you the summer venture program, right? That is the internship or founding experience or entrepreneurial experience you can have on your resume. So Anne, does that answer your question? I had the same problem as you when I was in my first year, and that's why we're creating this problem for me, but like from before. Okay, so now let's elaborate on the concept example quiz learning model. There's 3 stages of learning. The first stage is you get to become aware of a concept. Let's say in a math class, you learn about what it means to know the fundamental theorem of calculus. So you go to class, you learn the theorem, you memorize it, you know about it, But until you look at an example, which is the second step, you really understand how it's used. So the example can be a question that the prof does in class, or an example that's in the textbook. You really use examples to understand that concept. But what students really don't do a whole lot is to practice right after. Because until you practice, the learning curve drops really quickly. But if you practice a lot, right after you understand it, it helps you consolidate the knowledge. And you don't even need to review before exams if you really understand it. Okay, so what do you do when you become less motivated about your entrepreneurial project? I think mainly 3 things. Number 1 was the vision. I really saw this problem. And second was the users. I was able to see students going from failing the class to getting a 74% average at the end of a math class. So, and seeing the impact firsthand helped me move forward. And the third part is the team. When you have a mission-aligned team, you get to move forward at fast speed. I think that's all on the questions for today. And thank you all so much for being a part of the Ignite event series. And I hope you see you later in life and in the Summer Venture Program. Goodbye.